Live marketplaces are kind of known for their shady deals and their sketchy customers. They're a bit of a hit or miss, but they exist on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and another platform known as Whatnot. You ever heard of Whatnot? Me neither, brother. What the f is Whatnot? The platform Whatnot was used to scam and fraudulently steal money from customers, and the mastermind behind this drama was a man by the name of Blake Martinez. But thankfully, someone who I've talked about in a video before, my Logan Paul liquid marketplace scam video. Logan Paul just can't seem to keep himself out of limelight. A fellow known by the name of Rattle Pokemon, his birth name by the way, has dedicated a lot of time and energy into investigating frauds and scams and other deceptive practices in the world of Pokemon. And he has joined me in this video to expose to you guys one of the craziest scams that I've ever seen. Also, dude is an NFL player, not Rattle Pokemon, by the way. Blake Martinez. This shit is wild. Rattle on his channel has spent a lot of time investigating the infiltration of Pokemon by some of the biggest celebrities over the last couple years.
Now that Blake has abandoned Pokemon card selling and scurried back to the NFL with his tail between his legs, it's time to put out an all-in-one, comprehensive, everything you need to know video about the events that went down.
More specifically, the celebrities that have turned to it to just scam their audiences.
It seems like there's enough sketchy stuff going on.
But anyways, this video is incredible. I recommend you sit down and enjoy it and watch it, and press the like button if you want to see more content with Rattle. My name is Caleb Goodman, and I thank Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring this video. Have you ever had an injury at work or been in a car accident? It can be terrifying, especially if you don't know the first step to getting legal advice. I know a lot about legal advice. I have like 7 lawyers. I've paid multiple retainers, but fortunately, nothing really has been injury related. Luckily, if you have a problem related to this, there's an answer for you, and it's a few taps away. Welcome to the 21st century with Morgan & Morgan. It can suck how complex of a process can be. You can find yourself drowning in paperwork, and that's after the grueling process of just finding a lawyer in the first place. By the way, guys, I think legal help and counsel is very, 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 very important, especially if you are taking your life seriously and you actually want to do things well and effectively and not get bit in the ass and protect yourself where you need to be protected. Legal counsel is incredibly important. With Morgan & Morgan, you don't have to step a foot outside. You could submit a claim and you get legal support at your fingertips. Contract signatures, real-time chats with your attorney. It's all from your phone, baby girl. Plus, they have 100 offices across the US and more than 800 lawyers. And on top of that, 4,000 support staff available 24/7 to help anytime you need. And if you don't win, your case costs nothing. So it's easy and it's a win-win. That's calls, meetings, blood, sweat, and tears, all put into your case free of charge if you don't win, of course. For example, when my cousin fell through my ceiling, the last thing on his mind was hiring a lawyer, but with Morgan & Morgan, he could have left me penniless. It's fast, it's easy, it's efficient, and it fits right in your pocket because it's in your phone. You know that thing? The phone. It's in there. Morgan & Morgan has already fought for 3 million people, and they could fight for you too. Submit a claim from your couch in as little as 8 clicks, you lazy bastard. Check them out at www.forthepeople.com/Oompaville or dial #law. That's #529. Morgan & Morgan, fighting for you every step of the way. Thank you to Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring this video. What exactly is Whatnot? Let's talk a bit about it. What makes Whatnot a great place to sell snake oil? It is a live marketplace, and if you don't know what that is, it's like a social media site tied into a marketplace that takes fees in exchange for the ability to sell and retain a customer base on their platform. Now, how the f is Whatnot different from other marketplaces like Facebook or TikTok or whatever? On Whatnot, it's basically an auction. So instead of the price being negotiated between 2 parties, the purchaser and the seller, it is a bunch of bidders that drive this shit up during a live stream. Sounds kind of fun, honestly, and it is a solid business model. I mean, Whatnot's valued at $3.7 billion, dude. I had trouble saying that. It's fucking crazy. It's basically like those old knife shows, you know, you could call in and you could order a knife while they're like stabbing themselves and stuff and accidentally cutting their fingers off.
And the nice thing about these practice katanas, oh, that hurt.
It's like that sort of, but modern day with Twitch, and it's called fucking Whatnot. Okay.
I don't think I have one of those. Do I?
There's also giveaways. Huge red flag. How pervasive do you think scamming and fraud is on Whatnot, on the platform?
It's hard to say exactly. There are several bad actors, some of which should be punished worse than what they actually are. I do feel for the people that are selling honestly on there. It's very hard to do so, especially when you're competing with people that offer big prizes that are not actually winnable.
So what percentage of the people do you think are acting in bad faith? You said that you feel bad for the people who are on there who are selling honestly. What percentage do you think are honest, and what percentage do you think are dishonest?
It's hard to say exactly on a percentage, just based on what I've seen and the amount that I'm sure I could make a video every single day about somebody that's ripping people off on there. Maybe there's 10, 20%.
Usually the sellers on Whatnot cater themselves to a specific niche audience or user base. And for the focus of this video, it will be on card sales, specifically Pokemon cards. So in most of the research that you've done has just been specifically in the like the Pokemon world. Do you see it ever going beyond the Pokemon market?
I've dabbled a little bit in the sports card stuff. It's very relative, especially during the pandemic. There's a lot of people that were into sports cards that kind of made their way over to Pokemon, or I guess people that made their way into both. There was a ton of extra fraud that came along with that. With the extra money comes bad actors and people looking to cash in on that stuff. So
I will say that this site, specifically the card aspects of the site, have been infiltrated by scammers. It's been pretty bad over the last couple months, like really bad. There's a lot of scammers on this website. It's rampant. It's a huge problem, and there are a lot of complaints being filed with the Better Business Bureau. It looks bad. It looks bad. They need to do something about this. Whatnot has a terrible rating, and most of the recent Whatnot complaints are in regard to scammers. It's been a growing problem for a long time, and the one man at the forefront is a former NFL player. Not a poor fella, not like a guy who needs to go scam people to get money. An NFL player who is kind of leading the way and scamming their audience. How many people do you think started selling with sort of genuine intent and then realized how much money they could make and how easy it would be to just take advantage of people, and then started sort of scamming later on?
So a lot of the people, not necessarily with Blake, with Blake, according to people that worked with him, he was doing it even when he was still receiving an NFL salary.
That is so unbelievable. So who the fuck is this guy, Blake Martinez? He is a linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. He started in 2016. I don't like the Green Bay Packers. I like what's his name? Aaron Rodgers. That's his name. Brett Favre. That's my favorite quarterback. I've seen his penis before. This dude retired from football at the age of 29. Not from CTE or fear of hurting himself, or just he's tired of making a lot of money and being a massive superstar. He decided to retire to pursue a career opening Pokemon cards on Whatnot.
Welcome back. You may know our next guest from his tackling on the football field, but since retiring from the NFL, he's tackled a completely different career. We're talking about Blake Martinez. He started up a business selling Pokemon cards, and he's bringing in, yes, millions of dollars. CNBC's Make It featured him in a recent article over this past week. Check it out on our website, by the way.
And how big were these streams? Like, what was the biggest one?
In terms of like dollar value and stuff like that? Like
dollar value, or just viewership reach, etc.
I'm not sure on the viewership on a particular stream or whatever. He was basically at the top of the platform at all times. Like, whether that was through their promotion or the fact that like he was the big guy on the platform. He was the big guy on the platform to the point that everyone else, guess what? You got to pay 10% or whatever it is, plus the credit card transaction. So it's something like 13% in fees. I heard both that he did and didn't have to pay the credit card fees. So that 10%, he has a 10% advantage over everyone to begin with. He has extra advertising. He has like the name behind him and whatnot pushing him. They're probably providing some kind of assistance in some way with that stuff.
Well, he's their top scammer, of course. They got to take care of him, man.
It was so ridiculous, and they gave him such an advantage that it was to the point that it was beneficial for other streamers that had already developed their own audience on the platform to drop their channel and stream on his and just split the profit with them. Their own product, they brought everything to the table. Anything they made off of the streams, they would just give him half the profit.
Was he even good? He actually was pretty good. He was tied for third place most tackles in the 2017 season of the NFL. So he's a bit of a busy bee out on the field. Hopefully, if I make this video, he doesn't tackle me. Oh, that would be embarrassing. I'm so frail and skinny, and I've got childbearing hips. That can deliver a lot of power. So whatever caused him to retire from the NFL was a pretty big deal, because the average salary in the NFL is $860,000 a year. So apparently scamming with Pokemon cards on Whatnot, more lucrative. More than 800 grand a year. Bro also signed a $30 million 3-year contract with the Giants, received $19 million fully guaranteed at signing. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Why would anyone ever retire to open Pokemon cards on Whatnot? What do you think?
I've heard a lot of things, and unfortunately, Blake didn't want to talk to me, or I would have asked him himself. Like, he did send me messages. He sent me the whole, like, oh, Rattle, I love your videos. They're the best, but please not me, kind of thing. That kind of little spiel. In terms of leaving the NFL, I've heard, but was not able to confirm the fact that I guess he didn't get along with management and his role that he was supposed to play at the tail end there when he left.
Yeah.
So basically, probably something to do with that.
Now, to be fair, I don't know anything about NFL contracts. I don't know how it works. I don't know if he's actually worth that much money, but he apparently had a $30 million contract according to this random website I found. So I'm not sure, but still, you know, he made a lot of money in Pokemon cards too. We can all agree that the guy definitely has money, and it takes a certain kind of evil to, even when you have money, step on people's backs in order to make more. And by step on people's backs, I mean blatantly scamming them. I'd rather be stepped on. I'm kind of into that shit. Just kidding. It's weird. Should have said that. So when did Blake do all this horrible shit that I'm alleging here? Well, on Whatnot, of course. Haven't you been listening, you under his alias, Blake Breaks, because he's breaking the bank with how much money he's stealing from all of you. There is not a better place to do this aside from Whatnot. It is the perfect platform. They don't necessarily just have a bunch of scammers. Probably 99% of everyone on Whatnot is legit. There are a lot of people there, but it is an unfortunate fact that Blake decided to park his newfound career here. And what a better place to do it than with an inside man, old buddy Craig.
From my understanding and from what I've seen,
right?
It's my opinion that Craig, who was, maybe still is, best friends with Blake. Blake was his best man at his wedding.
Right.
Craig is the general manager, or one of the general managers at Whatnot.
Okay.
And apparently, according to everyone internal that I talked to, they're telling me that he was essentially running defense for Blake. So anytime Blake would get in trouble, Blake would get reported, it would all kind of get swept under the rug.
I think they should be pressed into being completely transparent about all this. I think that's the only way that they recover completely. Seems like Blake is really good buddies with the general manager at Whatnot, another former NFL player named Craig Jones. I don't trust anybody named Craig. I have an uncle named Craig. I like him. He does this bit where he has like a tiny head and he's like, I've got the smallest head in the world. Still don't trust him. There are a lot of interesting questions to ask about the relationship between Craig and Blake, because he was able to exist on the site for a long time, even when people knew that he was scamming. Or it seems like they had to have, unless they were completely idiotic. Maybe they didn't speak English. Maybe they couldn't read. Maybe they were deaf and blind. Maybe Whatnot's awesome and they hire disabled people and they do an excellent job just having the most diverse workforce ever. Maybe that's what it is. Hopefully. How many people used his umbrella and kind of operated out of that little space that he had?
Man, countless. So there were quite a few at the time, at the end days. As we'll call them. But yeah, just like countless. There's a few that would go on his channel. There were some that worked with him prior to. It was actually very convenient that he seemingly screwed over a lot of people business-wise. Made a lot of kind of enemies that way, because they were all very eager to, not all of them, but many of them were very eager to reach out to me with information.
Have you had a big outpouring of support from the people of Whatnot coming to kind of like give you as much information as possible? Not just people who work in Whatnot, but just people who use the site? People that
use the site, yeah, for the most part, most of them were very excited to see that was gone. A lot of the people, I mean, you get a pretty good feel for who's being honest, who's trying to sell honestly on the platform, because they're the ones that are the most excited that that's gone. They don't want to be associated with that. Right. There's many people that, like, at some point they just give up. They're just like, okay, like, I don't want to tarnish my own name by being on this platform with these other people that are ripping people off, because it makes me look bad as well. I'd rather go somewhere else and do the same thing.
Oh, by the way, Sour Boys launched. Okay, Rainbow is back, baby. Go buy it. It will be sold out immediately, I promise. We also have patches and a bunch of stickers that we didn't get sold for Halloween, because more arrived after Halloween. So my bad. The patches are cool. The candy's delicious. It's rainbow. We also have knit sweaters. Probably not even available right now, but they probably already sold out. But anyways, and if you miss it, sign up to the email list. You will get coupon codes. I promise. And we will send you funny pictures of my dogs. I promise. Soon we'll be giving out golden tickets, Willy Wonka style. All right, guys, if you buy candy, that's what I'm saying. It's not really a giveaway. You win fucking nothing aside from being in a video, but that's like, who cares? But mine's not a scam though. Not a scam. This scam. Me, not a scam. I'm not a fucking scammer. Okay, I got fucking scammed. That was me farting. For real. So how long exactly did this all go on for? Well, it started in 2022, and in the first 9 months, Blake made an estimated $8.3 million, according to CNBC.
In 2022, he started making a committed to Pokemon.
Now that's revenue, by the way. That doesn't include overhead. That's gross revenue. Net revenue includes the cost of sale. You know, I can't imagine there's a lot. He probably just has like a production team, and maybe they buy a lot of the cards. I don't really know how. It's probably like close to 50% in terms of margins. Could be more though. Could be more. Whatever it is, it's more lucrative than playing in the NFL. So, bit of an alleged scam going on here. He gets banned from the online marketplace known as Whatnot because all good things must come to an end. And how the fuck is this even possible? And has there been any sort of consequence whatsoever? Yeah.
It's just wild. So Craig not removed, even though he was like running defense for Blake from everything I've seen.
Yeah.
We had Robbie, who was Blake's business partner, not removed from the platform, not banned from the platform. He was with the guys, moving over to TikTok, hanging out with them, selling the stuff on there until they got kicked off. Who else we got? Oh, Pete Locke. So Blake's assistant. Surely Blake's assistant didn't know what was going on, right?
No,
he shouldn't
no
be banned.
way.
He's like his right-hand man.
Yeah, no chance he knew.
No, not banned. And Craig just kind of snuck his way back in, just went back to work. He was at official events. He's still in there like moderating for like official streams and all that stuff. Just
That is
nothing.
crazy.
No word, no statement like, oh, Craig didn't have anything to do with it. But Craig, he at least, you know what? We got to give credit to Craig. At least he went on his Instagram and he deleted all the photos of Blake.
That's good. Baller move. Very, very, very smart move. Yeah, I got to cut him out. Stalin style. I like that.
Whether or not they're actually fighting, don't know.
Probably not. They're probably, I could not imagine they actually are. That seems like a PR move. So removing this man that they know is scamming people on their platform, that solves all the problems. No. That's just the beginning of it, because you have to refund all the people who got scammed and you knew about it because of Craig. It looks really bad. It looks really, really, really bad. It looks so fucking bad. It looks like Blake was scamming and then they just turned a blind eye because his fucking best buddy is the, has pulling the company and people are afraid to say anything. That's what it looks like. I don't know if that's true. That's all alleged. You gotta refund people though, okay? Whatnot said for a while that they refunded a lot of people, but they did not, okay? For a while. I believe a lot of people have been refunded now, okay? But it took a fucking long time. And on top of this kind of weird behavior from Whatnot, Blake also completely downplayed what he had done, pointing somewhere else. He seems like a good guy. Martinez initially tried to downplay the scandal, urging his employees not to address the accusations. On a stream after the accusations were made public, he didn't apologize, nor did he admit into any wrongdoing or scamming. Martinez said Snee would stay with the company, but in another role. Martinez declined to comment on Snee's involvement Tuesday. I understand the optics, Martinez said on the stream. I know the type of business I run. I made a good amount of money. Everybody knows. In the NFL, and I knew stepping into this, I was going to have a target on my back. Yes, a target on your back. And after that is when they announced that all buyers impacted by the infractions had been refunded. But that was not true at the time.
But Whatnot essentially to make it right for everyone created a Google Doc where people could or a form where people could fill out their name, their account, and how they got ripped off. It was on them to discover whether they got ripped off or not.
Oh wow,
and they had to provide like timestamps of when they get ripped off. But the problem was that Whatnot didn't even have all the footage available to these people. And some were getting rejected because they didn't have the timestamp. Like, how do you timestamp something that you don't have access to anymore?
How do you know how many people have been refunded, or you don't? It's probably a difficult number to find. That's probably all internal.
Yeah, it's probably all internal. I'm sure it's a ton of money because even like a lot of people were saying that they did get refunds. They got refunds for some of it, not others. There were some people that had difficulty getting refunds because they were expected to, if they say they bought the booster pack on the stream, they had to return the cards or they had to return whatever they purchased to go along with their illegal gambling. And then like sometimes the customer service end of things from Whatnot would say like, hey, yeah, well, you're supposed to only be able to report things within 30 days It's like, I don't think that's how it works. I don't think you can prop somebody up on your platform, advertise them. They scam everyone. You're like, well, it was more than 30 days ago. Tough luck. See you next time.
So who is the crew? The Blake Breaks crew. Who are the cohabitants in this scamming empire? Well, Blake had quite the operation going with a bunch of people involved on Whatnot. Whatnot, that's a good name, honestly. Now, Blake, of course, was the mastermind, the owner of this whole thing. He ended his career as a professional athlete in one of the most lucrative leagues you can possibly play in, the NFL, to fucking make money because he loves Pokemon. What do you think, guys? You think it was to make money because he loves Pokemon, or because there's a business idea and they had it and they were already doing it on Whatnot and they just said, oh, there's how much money we can make if we had... Boom, check this out, dude. We could fucking Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac these bitches. I love Freddie Mac. Rest in peace. Snee was also a scammer. P. Wood, another guy. Lewis Killa, PMW, Pokey Plugs, fucking terrible name. And Pete Lock was Blake's assistant, I believe. Pete Lock would even sometimes field complaints from viewers of Blake Breaks. Oh, I recommend you pausing and reading this because it's very sketchy. I don't feel like reading anymore, so I'll let you pause and read this. Good luck. Now we got Craig Jones, who wasn't exactly part of the Blake Breaks crew, but he was the general manager at Whatnot, which implies a certain level of authority and power and influence, and also best friends with Blake, who, by the way, was the poster child for Whatnot and success, and one of the reasons why Whatnot has gotten so far that it has, and he was probably doing a little bit of defense for Blake. Probably playing defense, as he did in the NFL, as an inside linebacker. So this group of people, they all work together to essentially scam buyers on Whatnot. This is a massive racket for a long time. They had games that they would let the buyers play to manipulate them and to scam them. Match the Energy was a game / gamble where there would be an energy that the buyers would have to match when their packs are opened.
Ooh, fire energy, eh? You guessed the wrong one. I wonder if it would have been electric in that other pack.
And this could be easily controlled because the energy in each booster pack had repeating patterns.
Cases of the sleeve booster packs would have a repeating pattern of energies. In the packs, which is referred to as being mappable, a buyer would purchase at a huge premium because of the chance to win everything in the background. You got to win everything in the background. All they had to do was get an energy in their pack that was the same as the one in the previous pack. Basically, if you match the energy that was in the previous pack with the pack that you're buying and opening, then you win all the stuff in the background, the granddaddy prize. What we want to know is how are energy distributed in packs? We have a Pokemon card pack right here. As you can see, we have a bunch of Pokemon cards contained within it. We got a Zarude and we got an energy. Now, this is the important part here. How are energy distributed in packs? Each pack of Pokemon cards has one energy card, which come in 8 different colors / types and are used to play the game by powering up your Pokemon's attacks, the value of which is essentially nothing since they come in a ton of products and are in abundance. When we get into gambling on Whatnot, we have Whatnot sellers, including Blake, realize that there's much more money to be made with gambling than there is selling a $3 pack of Pokemon cards. Whatnot has basically become an online casino without regulations, without a license, and without actual dealers. But also, not to mention the fact that they come into the cases in a certain pattern, and this pattern is often they don't even bother to switch it up at all. They could if they really wanted to spend the extra time and effort, but they did not, and so you see these repeating patterns. The Blakers were too lazy to change up the packs, so there's footage of them opening over and over in the exact same pattern. I have some nice footage of the whole group of them all pulling the energies in the same order,
Cool.
all doing the same thing. And when they do want somebody to win, all they got to do is grab a pack from on the side somewhere, because everything's coming from off camera. They grab it from somewhere else so that it matches, and voila, you have a winner. So when they did want a win to happen, usually at the end of the stream, when they made a ton of money, they kept all the previous energies on the table, and you could match any single one of them. This, if they were playing fair, would greatly increase the odds each time an energy is added. They abused this hard and would, way too often, get to the last or near last energy going through them all. As the odds increased, they would get even more money for the packs. Remember, it's an auction for each individual pack, even in excess of $1,000 for what should be $3, a $3 booster pack.
So they could just control which energies would show up and win, effectively rigging the game.
They're too lazy to even reseal the packs. They just repack them. Again, hiding the bottom. And floop.
And this was their big winner. This is what they made all their money on. It's just so easy to fake. They knew which energies were in the packs, and they would charge way above the value of the packs, and everyone had their chance to win everything in the background. Look at all this awesome loot, dude. I might even get scammed if I'm going to get some of this loot.
Why, you ask? Because there is a chance at winning the stack of items in the background, of course, if the person guesses the energy correctly. When they do guess it correctly, the seller knows it and is able to switch out the pack for one with a different energy card inside.
This is so much loot. Look how much loot is there.
There's a lot of people that didn't want to speak out because if they were still on the platform, they had people in a position of power that could remove them or make it difficult for them to do anything on there. So if you're going after Blake, then if you're working in under Craig, if Craig is your manager or anything like that, like people that do make a living on there, they are either, whether it's like a side gig or whether it's a full-time thing, they're making money on there, so they can't like sabotage themselves. So I've had a ton of people that came to me but couldn't like speak out about it.
One thing that's really awesome is you can just point out how stupid and lazy these people were at scamming their audience, because they didn't mix up orders or anything like that. So you can just play their streams side by side and watch them open the same energy in the same order. It would be mathematically impossible for this to happen, but it just happens magically because of Blake Martinez and Craig. And Pokesnee, I'm sure. Now, Guess the Energy was another game that they used to scam people. Game, loose term. More of a gamble. More of a gamble.
There was another one that they did, I guess a less effective one that they did, and Snee liked to pull off. She would always hold them from the bottom. But if you watch enough footage, you can see that the bottoms of these packs are open. So she was opening the bottoms of the packs to make sure that the energy was not, or was exactly what she knew. So in her games, the ones with the open bottom packs, you would have to guess the energy. So you're in the chat, you're gonna buy an energy pack, or you're gonna buy a booster pack, and you're gonna guess what energy's in it. You got a 1 in 8 chance, and she's got it on screen. But if you guess the right one and she doesn't want you to win, she's gonna pull that pack off screen and replace it with one that has an energy that isn't the one that you guess. And she's done this countless times, probably even more if we had access to all of the footage.
In this one, you just had to guess what kind of energy would be in the pack, and since there's 8 different types of energy, you had a 1 in 8 chance to win.
Let's talk match the energy odds. So if we're playing our little game here that they like to do at the end, where they have to have somebody that wins, but they're also increasing your odds, so they're milking more and more money, and we have 8 possibilities in some of those packs, that would give us a 0.2% chance of going through all of the energies and not getting a match until the 8th and final one, where there's no other option other than getting a match, which they're also charging money for. So you're guaranteed the stuff in the background. So they're in essence selling the stuff at the very end.
Although, of course, the odds were manipulated and they would swap out packs to prevent wins. Makes sense. Fucking great business there, Chumley.
Blake's streamer Snee was caught switching packs numerous times. The buyer would purchase a $3 pack of Pokemon cards, and guess what the energy was inside the pack? Problem is, they are sold auction style, and there's always a huge premium on what should be a $3 booster pack of Pokemon cards. Why, you ask? Because there is a chance at winning the stack of items in the background, of course.
What a great fella.
But also, like, I think a huge issue with it is the fact that Whatnot, for the large part, like, they make money off fees. So the more people they can have selling on the platform, the better. Sure, they're not making money off of Blake, but he's advertising. We got to protect our boy. But also with everyone else, like, just bring on as many people as possible. We can't ban everyone, because we ban everyone for ripping people off, then we don't make fees off of them. So if they're making us money, then we don't want to get rid of them. But at the same time, like, it's you're kind of destroying yourself.
By the way, it wasn't just Craig playing defense for Blake. Snee on the phone repeated multiple times that Blake had no involvement in any of this, and it was just a big mistake.
Absolutely no involvement with Blake. And the entire incident, it was absolutely on me. I was lazy and didn't put down the pack in my hand, and I absolutely see how that looks on camera. And I 100% understand kind of the backlash that I've been getting for this. I've been a Whatnot streamer for, sorry.
No,
I've been a Whatnot streamer.
It's okay.
Since the beginning, and I've never had an incident like this, and it was not my intention. I didn't want to make people not trust me in the platform or Blake, and that was not my intention at all.
She just seems scared, to be honest, which is unfortunate. Here's P. Wood scamming in his streams and then saying he's not a scammer. He's a lovable little fellow.
That's cool, because I've never scammed somebody in my entire life. And also, nobody actually even knows me. If you actually knew me, you wouldn't say that either. I'm honestly probably one of the most genuine and loving people you will meet. So I absolutely love you all.
There's a guy that was weighing packs. So the old booster packs, you can weigh them. The heavy ones have the good stuff in them because it's foil. It's heavier than paper. So essentially, he was taking the stuff off screen and he was weighing it and bringing it back on screen. But he had the graded cards in the background, so the plastic was reflecting, and you could see him taking the cards and weighing them one by one.
Here is an ironic video of them calling out people for thinking that there is a pattern in the cards that are being drawn and pulled.
I love all the people that think that there's a pattern. Cling clang.
The people that know there's a pattern.
Yo!
Obviously, the chat is just liars. They have no idea what's going on here. There's even footage of someone winning with 2 psychic energies pulled at once, but then Blake freaks out and says, sorry, we messed up. You didn't win. What?
3, 2, 1. Come on, hype. Come on, hype. Wait, we skipped one? Wait, hold on, hold up. Oh shit, Goose, I'm sorry. Where's the other one? Because we had to switch it.
Little side note, funny story from a user who got scammed $6,000 by Blake and then reported it to Whatnot. Whatnot said they couldn't do anything about it, so the user charged back their credit card, as one does when they are fucking scammed, and then Whatnot banned him and not Blake.
Well, leading back into like the later that month or a little bit later the next month, he had still not received his slabs, and his tracking also never updated. Never scanned, never done anything. He had been in communication with Blake on a weekly basis, and they were saying it should ship soon. Just give it a little bit more time. Never shipped. Emailed Trust and Safety. All of this even happened. With Trust and Safety, they said, well, they've shipped it, so there's nothing we can do. A month and a half goes by, he's out $6,000. And so what does he do? He files a chargeback with his credit card company to get his money back, rightfully so.
Yeah.
So what not Trust and Safety do? They ban Cheese from the app and let Blake continue streaming.
What a great company. What an awesome, awesome company. Got a cool name, and it's probably mostly good people, but by God, corruption runs so deep. Here's a funny little bit of Sneeze swapping a pack for a winner because she got a $100 donation.
Grass, fire, water, fighting. Jay, this is gonna hit because you just tipped me $100. Literally. I'm feeling it. Grass, fire, water, fighting. Congratulations, Jay.
Just blatantly manipulating odds to be favorable when you're making money. That's awesome. Here's Snee being an absolute dumbass, swapping a pack out for a losing pack and then leaving the other pack on screen with different art because dumbass. Who's the biggest loser in this situation, you think?
Anyone that didn't get refunded primarily. Anyone that has built an audience on the platform, honestly.
Who's
and
good,
is getting,
yeah.
Yeah, and is just getting screwed over because the whole thing looks like crap now.
All this stuff is so frustrating. Fortunately, Blake has been banned from Whatnot. This is not the end of this, and this is not the beginning of this. He's not the first person to do this. He's not the last for sure. Rattle did even more research into another platform called Liquid Marketplace, and Rattle even played a role in that crazy multi-million-dollar booster pack opening that Logan Paul had on his channel a few years ago. Remember the one where they got scammed by G.I. Joe cards?
Legitimately, verifiably, 100% the only sealed case in the world that is 100% real. G.I. Joe! G.I. Joe? G.I. Joe! It could have been anything else.
Did you find out about the Blake Martinez situation before or after the work he did on the Liquid Marketplace investigation and / Logan Paul situation?
So first was it seems like everything I do kind of links up together. Everything. It was just this big network of like, it's pretty cool. So initially it was the fake case, the fake case, right. The booster case. It was authenticated by BBCE.
You're from BBC.
Yes, I'm the owner. Yep.
You're the owner of BBC,
yep.
And you authenticated this.
Yes. Me and Michael are going to go over when it came to my office that day what I looked for, and then we're going to speak back and forth about why we like the seals. If it's good, it's worth a lot more than the 3.5 now.
In this case,
and then I'm looking at it. I go in depth, I look at other examples, and none of the stories add up.
It's glaringly wrong with this case. In particular, the label. So if we look here, this label doesn't look like any of the WotC cases I could find, any pictures that I've dug up. Big issue here is that it doesn't look like it is a thermal label. We have a little bit of smudging here. Thermal labels, or a thermal printer, it's fast, there's no smudge, since there's no dry time effectively. You're just heating up portions of the paper that have chemicals on them. They act like ink. This was invented in the 60s. So like the more I find, the more I keep digging, and the more it's just like, oh, like extra incentive. Like, okay, this thing is definitely fake. And I'm like finding more and more things that are wrong with it, talking to all the people that are involved. It ends up being that like all the people involved kind of knew each other beforehand.
Rattle created this handy little layout of all the people that were involved. Bunch of winners here. Check out these guys. These people look AI generated. I'm just gonna say it. Like, they look real, but also fake, but they also look very familiar. It's weird. We know who Logan is, all right? He doesn't need any sort of explanation or introduction. This guy is Shine, the guy that Logan spent $3.5 million on a box of Pokemon cards from. Looks like a trustworthy guy. Shine bought the box from these two gentlemen, Jacob and Jameel. He bought it for $2.7 million.
Baby. Money. So at that point in time, I'm just like, okay, so like Logan Paul's probably getting screwed over here. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to make a video on it. I don't care if it's a Logan Paul. I don't care who's buying this thing. It's fake. I'm going to make videos about how this thing is fake, start to finish, like everything that was wrong with the case itself. All the label, the stomp tape, everything about it, just very fake. The origin of it, who it came from. I ended up calling everyone up, including the guy that originally sold it. He made up some crazy stories. He was from Canada, Western Canada. And he's going on about how he got it. I told other people different stories through eBay when he had it listed on there, and everything else. So I'm like, okay, this is fake at this point.
Rattle was directly involved with that. How insane. And pivoting from Blake, Logan Paul is definitely the greatest example of an influencer who has used their platform for a means of profiting financially in potentially disingenuous ways. CryptoZoo, the most infamous example. He put together a team of people to create a crypto-centered game with NFTs that were so awesome. Then he had ZooCoin too on top of that, and then it all fell apart somehow, guys. Good things never last. Now, Logan claims he never made any money off CryptoZoo. Obviously, the shit failed pretty quickly because the team he hired were all charlatans and liars and scammers. But I assume he still planned to make money off of this thing. I don't think this is a passion project. Now, this isn't Pokemon. That's why it's just kind of being glossed over here. But before the CryptoZoo scam, we can kind of look at some other stuff that Logan Paul was into. I mentioned those G.I. Joe cards that he got scammed with. Well, yeah, I think maybe there's a potential that he intended to scam you guys. Well, no, none of you watched Logan Paul. Logan Paul, he intended to scam some viewers into buying. Well, we'll get into it.
Everyone that's in the room with the G.I. Joe box is all Liquid Marketplace, which I didn't know at the time.
Right.
Liquid Marketplace wasn't a thing yet. That was to be announced.
That's
so it turned
crazy.
out that fake case, they didn't want to let anyone know, but that was supposed to be on Liquid Marketplace, another one of Logan's projects. So this case probably almost certainly faked from start to finish by everyone involved. Basically, they were going to put it in a vault for Liquid Marketplace and sell fractional shares of it, where they didn't have to sell enough shares that anyone could ever remove it from that vault. Ever vote to remove it, ever vote to sell it. They would be selling shares of a G.I. Joe case under the false pretenses that it was a very expensive Pokemon cards.
Wow. For a little while in 2020 and 2021, Logan Paul was kind of at the forefront of Pokemon. It was a big trend. It was a big hype train. And Logan, being a money boy, had just a bunch of money he could throw around and just can buy crazy. He has this insane Illustrator card.
That's a Gem Mint 10. All right, guys, that's awesome. Gem Mint 10.
Baller. It's like $1 billion or something, or 600,000. I forget. I don't really care. I don't do research. I just start talking. And all the content he made on Pokemon back in the very beginning, 2020, 2021, he acted in those videos as if he were a huge Pokemon fan.
Now, I could already tell that I was going to like this. It's nostalgic, it's a strategic investment, and most importantly, I was having so much fucking fun. So, I started buying more. And more. And more.
But there were some things happening off camera that make it seem a little bit more shady than his funny, wholesome videos might lead you to believe. Logan claims he was scammed out of $3.5 million from the starter boxes that he opened on video. the G.I. Joe ones. Rattle was able to deduce from just videos and pictures of that box that there were so many red flags that somehow authenticators couldn't pick up on, but they definitely should have been able to pick up on.
What if I told you this $3.5 million transaction, it's fake?
Labels, barcodes, off. Dude, even I fucking know that shit. There's a 1E at the end of the serial number on the barcode that indicates first edition, but real boxes wouldn't contain that from the time. Also, this scan code thing, that's super old. That's like, it shouldn't look that good. Things from like a long time ago. Shouldn't look like it's brand new. So Logan may not have known, or he may have known. I really don't know. But what he definitely knew about was Liquid Marketplace. Now, I'm unsure of how anyone could ever look at Liquid Marketplace and think it's a wise place to invest your money. I mean, I'm fully invested in like life insurance. That's where I put all of my money. To be fair, Jumbo Roths, guys, look into it. That and Dogecoin. To me, Liquid Marketplace seems like a rip-off. Okay, it's like some really stupid shit. You get to own a percent of a physical asset, but you get to own it metaphysically. I don't know what the point of this website is. Logan Paul put his precious Pikachu illustrator on there, and you could buy a little tiny chunk of it, and it would be protected by the blockchain. Well, for one, I don't trust the blockchain. For two, what the is the point of that? I'd rather just have money than a piece of a card.
Yeah, they're just basically the entire thing fell apart, looked like a scam. They never actually minted the tokens that they were supposed to mint for a lot of the items, especially the important items, like the PSA 10 illustrator. Never made them. I made a video about how they never made them. A few months after that, they made them.
That's crazy.
They minted the tokens. Yeah. So, like, just the whole thing is like they were going on about how it had to be on the blockchain and everything else, but then you had to withdraw in cash and not. There was no crypto option or anything like that.
Bro, Logan even wears this fucking thing around his neck at the WWE events, which are so cringe. It's kind of cool. That's kind of cool, to be honest. I'm not a huge Logan Paul fan, if you guys couldn't tell, but that's a little sick. Whoa, he's got old man hands. Look at that. This looks like a 45-year-old fucking man from his hands. I thought I had old person hands. So who wins when you're buying things from the Liquid Marketplace? The people who make money from Liquid Marketplace. Not you. Not you. The person who's giving real money for nothing in return. It's not you. It's not you. Okay. It's the people who run the site. Also, these people are fucking all like related and shit. These people are married. These people are together. These people are married. And a lot of the founders and team were the same people who were involved in the $3.5 million Pokemon starter box debacle. So just kind of, and they had to know about that shit. There's no way you could ever go into that not expecting some kind of thing here. There's so many red flags. So after that, they went on to selling imaginary shares of the same kind of starter box that Logan Paul was scammed out of, that they also were involved in. Good faith, man. That's good faith right there. But don't be confused though. You don't ever actually get to see or touch the box of the cards or anything. Like, you don't ever get any of it at all, ever. You're just you're losing money. You're just going to lose money. That's what happens. Like, I don't even know. Like, how is this possible? There's all these people out there.
It's insane. It's insane.
It is really
insane. It's never ending. It's the
never
craziest.
Ending. Yeah. Never ending, just recycling victims over and over and over and over and over again, and then just misleading people and lying and just being pieces of shit.
But that's the thing too. It's just like they're gonna screw over the investors. They're gonna screw over.
Yeah, everyone's.
I don't know if maybe the plan wasn't to screw over the investors initially, but that's certainly what happened when you're buying, Porsche 911s and vacations, private jets, and all this stuff while the business is struggling, and he's claiming that it's because the market is down on sports cards, so that's why everything looks as bad as it is.
That is so mind-boggling.
But yeah, but you're dumping all the money,
and you can't even really buy anything on this anymore. It doesn't work. I tried buying this. It just says the site cannot be reached. Same thing happens if you try to buy the Pokemon Illustrator card. You can buy a cent of it. What? A $4 million card, so I can own a quarter of a millionth of a percent. What is that? I don't even know. All this stuff is so sketchy. It's mind-boggling, and I cannot believe that it exists on the internet, and I cannot believe people are so stupid to fall for it, and I feel bad for them at the same time because I've fallen for scams before. Less egregious than this, but still. Maybe more egregious, but less obvious. I got scammed. That's why I like making these videos. Oh, also, by the way, go subscribe to Rattle Pokemon. Dude put in the hard work here. He's got like a 60-part series and all these things. He makes excellent videos. Go subscribe to him. He's using his audience and platform to build up something positive and cool and prevent people from being exploited. It's awesome.